15th, 2025. Yeah, 2015.
You and I are on the same page. Something like that. Yeah, exactly. The red light went on. We have to talkie thing. Yeah.
Oh, good morning, Denver,
Yes, good
Colorado.
morning.
You've tuned into the Jeff and Bill Show News Talk 710 KNUS. I'm your co-host, Jeff Hunt, along with Bill Thorpe, bringing you the freshest insights and hottest takes from the right, left, and center. Lots to talk about today. We're going to talk about the new program that RTD is launching. You're going to get a first part of a mile of the scooter ride in the city of Denver, covered by RTD.
It's an interesting solution. We'll have to talk about it.
Interesting. It's a stupid solution.
This
is classic. Let's figure out why no one's riding our RTD. Oh, we just need to give them more money.
Well,
just
I disagree.
Redistribute the wealth a little bit.
I believe, no, this is the crazy part is, I believe this solution, while it may be misintentioned and it may not do exactly what they want, is based on a very solid economic foundational principle. I understand.
Giving people money?
No, we'll get to it. We'll have to wait. The audience is going to have to wait. But there is a very, very strong foundational principle at play here, one that Amazon has mastered. And we'll talk about it. There's a reason. I understand the reason why they're doing it. I'm not certain that this economic principle applies here. And it's a classic principle. It's foundational.
Yeah.
And it's something that most businesses do have a problem with. So they're going with a classic business solution. Although I think in this case, it may be misappropriated. They may be misinterpreting it. But that's for later today. So again, we'll talk about this.
This will be interesting. Well, RTD is covering part of a scooter ride program in an effort to hopefully encourage you to ride it to the bus and then get on their bus. So is it going to work? We'll talk about that. Michael Porter Jr. was on a podcast talking about sports gambling and how easy it is for athletes to game the system to help their friends make money. And it happened to his younger brother, and this is going to be an interesting insight. We're going to be talking about that in the 8 o'clock hour. Amy Sherman, Vice President of Public Affairs for Junior Achievement, Rocky Mountain, joins us, talking about the great programs that they're doing. Plus, interesting little thing I noticed yesterday that went a bit viral. All has to do with going to a restaurant and waiting while they fulfill online orders for nobody that's there, while you who are there have to wait. So, lots to talk about today, but we'd love for you to join the conversation. 303-696-1971. 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line at 720-819-5115. Now it's time for News and Comment with Blake Olson.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, News and Comment.
Hey, good Thursday morning, 63 and clear, expecting a high of 97 today. This portion of the news sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story, 3 fires continue to burn in Rio Blanco County. The Lee Fire, now the 5th largest in state history. Governor Polis has declared disaster emergency in the Crosho Fire as he authorizes National Guard response. More exposure on the commies, the corruption from the deep state coming out this morning, this time Hillary and her involvement in 2016 and beyond. John Solomon crushing it.
The Deputy Attorney General for Barack Obama, Sally Yates, explicitly told the FBI, shut it down, meaning the corruption probes of Hillary Clinton. Think about this. While Donald Trump was out on the campaign trail chanting, lock her up, maybe there was a good reason to lock up Hillary Clinton, he would argue every night. The Obama Justice Department was telling the FBI agents who also thought there might be a reason to lock up Hillary Clinton, shut it down. Remember those words.
The documents are coming out and coming to light this morning. Officials in Alaska making last-minute preparations for the upcoming summit between 47 and Putin. They're scheduled to meet in Anchorage Friday at Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson. The face-to-face talks are aimed at securing a ceasefire in the war Russia will not lose. Ukrainians praying for an end. More National Guard troops are on the streets of D.C. at this hour. It's a 24/7 operation. Some like it, some don't. Geraldo tells the truth here.
D.C. has been, with all due respect to our nation's capital, a shithole for a long time. You know, it reminds me of the old LaGuardia Airport that became so ghettoized and so grim and dark and melancholy that you get used to it. Remember, these are citizen soldiers, the Guard. In broad strokes, I agree that the military should not be deployed for a law enforcement purpose. But these people, the Guard, the citizen soldiers, are there for a different reason. They're there to calm people down and to also project a presence.
Yes, but this high school teacher, school is back in session. This teacher has TDS, and she suggests that DJT is like Hitler, rambles for like 2.5 minutes.
They're truly worried, and it's hard to prevent them from drawing certain conclusions when you look at things from a historical context. I know full well that we're going to spend a lot of time talking about World War II, and they're very interested in it. They're very interested in learning about Hitler. The gravity of me being their high school history teacher is not lost on me. I can really impact how they see our country and how they understand history, and I know how important that was for me as a student and even as an adult. There's still things I find out all the time that I was never taught, and I'm a history teacher, and I'm still learning new things about American history all the time. But if you look at what is happening right now in a historical lens, we are undeniably following certain patterns.
And she goes on and on and on, and she just kind of hints to it and suggests it. Frightening. Just teach history, not your ideology. Former state lawmaker Yannick Yoshi throws his hat into the GOP primary ring to challenge Democratic Senator John Hickenlooper for the U.S. Senate in 2026. The Republican formerly out of the Springs made it official with an announcement. He joins retired Marine Corps Colonel George Market from Broomfield as the current Republicans to challenge first-term Senator Hickenlooper. More than a dozen children are hurt after a school bus crash near Austin. Officials say 2 students are in critical condition. 2 others have serious but not life-threatening injuries, and 12 suffered minor injuries, thankfully. Nothing more serious. First Lady Melania Trump threatening major legal action if Hunter Biden refuses to immediately retract the false defamatory and disparaging and inflammatory statements that he recently made.
Epstein introduced Melania to Trump. The connections are like so wide and deep. Anyway, why do we think they don't want the files released?
As he paints his little picture, his little artwork. He's an artist, you know.
Dude, that is a guy to talk. I don't know if you've ever gone through his laptop.
I avoid it. Yeah, I have not.
Come on.
I've seen all the stories.
I mean, he just hired prostitutes all the time, took pictures with prostitutes and spent time drug addicted with prostitutes. Now he's weaving this narrative together that Jeffrey Epstein, Melania, he deserves to get sued.
He does. So the First Lady suing for $1 billion in damages. I love that. Unless he retracts, and that's what her attorney Alejandro Brito says. State health officials say an unvaccinated child has been hospitalized with measles following a trip to Mexico to an area with an active outbreak. The Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment says the child is under 5 years old and is from Adams County. The health department says exposure was limited to those in the emergency department of Children's Hospital on Tuesday evening. Olympic sprinter Sha'Carri Richardson, she was assaulting her boyfriend, basically trying to beat him up in an airport, even though she claimed he assaulted her. This video is just so ridiculous to watch, but surveillance footage showed differently, and she panics when she realizes, guess what? You're going to jail.
So I'm just gonna be a transport vehicle.
She's gonna take these off.
Unfortunately, not now.
I'm not a criminal. I'm not a criminal. I had an argument with my boyfriend. You know what? I'm not resisting. I'm gonna sit in the car. This is crazy. Y'all not even listening to me. I do. You want me to take it off? It's not a weapon. Like, I'm not resisting. I had an argument with my boyfriend. I know, but you gotta. Can y'all please just listen to me as a person? It's Sha'Carri. You have to go ahead and. Yep, thank you. This is crazy. Are you serious right now? Because I'm arguing with my boyfriend.
And now you're going to jail. She was beating him, just slapping him, hitting him, and she goes on this just long rant with the police, and there she goes. Rockies beat the Cards 6-5. Diamondbacks in town tonight at Coors. 62 in Northglenn, 61 in Littleton, 63 in Denver. Jeff and Billy, they have just kicked off Thursday. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
It'll be another hot day along the Front Range, but subtropical moisture slowly increasing, so thunderstorm chances will be going up for the rest of the week. Highs today, middle to upper 90s, a few gusty afternoon and evening thunderstorms. Lower 60s tonight. Lower 90s Friday and Saturday. Friday and Saturday, 2 days where there's good chances of afternoon and evening storms. Weather is service of L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. For quick, trustworthy, and dependable service, call L&L Heating and Air Conditioning at 720-851-1691. Visit them online at bestdenverhvac.com. You'll be comfortable with L&L. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Tweet yesterday, which I thought was kind of interesting. Obviously,
right.
I poked a little nerve.
Yeah, tell me about it. What happened?
All right, so sales folks over here at Salem and I got some meetings afterwards, and so in between the scheduled meetings and the show, I got lunch. So I go down to a sub sandwich place. Good one, by the way. One of my favorites. I'm not going to say the name of it, but because it gets a little sensitive here. But great sub sandwich place. And I'm standing around, and after about 20 minutes, my sandwich isn't ready. And so I'm kind of like, what is going on? This is weird. And so I've been sitting down, doing work, getting ready for the show, all that stuff. And I get up and I walk back over to the counter, and I see the employees are working feverishly.
Oh, okay.
Like this isn't like, they're just lounging around.
Yeah, not hanging
And
around.
there's got to be like 8, 10 of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
At a sub place. This place is humming.
Yeah.
and they are working so fast and feverishly. Getting the sandwich all wrapped up.
Yeah.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, they're going quick. And I'm like, well, where's mine? Did they forget my sandwich? Maybe sometimes my order just got dropped off. Who knows? And then I look around, and there's about 40 of us in the restaurant.
Wait,
and
40?
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot.
All
There's
right.
a lot of people in this sub restaurant. This is not a big chain sub restaurant.
Okay.
Not
yeah.
so
40.
not,
Damn.
but
That's
big.
okay. That's a.
I mean,
that's
this
a full
place
load.
is humming,
Yeah.
and nobody has a sandwich.
Okay.
So I'm like, what?
What's
this
going
is
on?
weird.
Yeah.
Like the place is working so hard, and nobody's getting any sandwiches.
Yeah.
They were fulfilling catered orders. Okay. Now I've run into
Now,
this
question for you,
a
though.
few times. Yeah.
Now, question just for information for the conversation.
Yes, sir.
Catered orders or online orders? And by catered, I mean large group order for an event or online orders that are placed individually. What were they working on? Just
what they were working
Yeah.
on at that exact moment
Yeah.
was a catered order because they were filling big boxes.
Okay. So it's
of
a large
sandwiches,
catered order.
right?
Okay.
Like it wasn't
Yeah.
just like one bag
Yeah.
with a sandwich. It was, but now, so this is the way it was set up. You had them all working, fulfilling big boxes full of sandwiches, and then on the other side, you had a whole bunch of online orders
Yeah.
that were being fulfilled as well. So it wasn't just catered; it was online. And then you had all of us out here waiting for our sandwiches.
Yeah.
And I've run into this a few times before where the people that are in the restaurant are waiting while the staff is fulfilling online orders. And this was just a question I floated, right? No condemnation. Not going, terrible restaurant, terrible customer service. I just asked whose orders should come first, catered, online, or in person, because I thought it was a unique little moment to watch nearly 40 people sit around a restaurant waiting for a sandwich while catered orders and online orders got fulfilled first. And I've run into this with a few other sandwiches shops where I'm just like, okay, so the people in front of you are the ones that are going to have to wait while you fulfill online orders.
Yeah.
Just who should the priority be? Dude, this thing blew up. I have so many, hundreds of comments on this one. And like the most logical would be, well, and people mention this, catered should be fulfilled in the back of the house by a separate team.
Yeah.
Not necessarily front of the house. Now, if you're a sub sandwich, I'm not sure you can have a back of the house that's fulfilling it. But it seems to me that making the people that have taken the time to come to the restaurant and are actually in front of you, like face to face, making them the last priority doesn't seem right either.
Well, playing devil's advocate.
Yes.
Do you then, that's not saying catered order, but if I'm an online order, do you then discourage me for ever ordering online if when I arrive, I have to wait just like everybody else that showed up in person? Are you telling me don't ever order online because you're treated the same?
They have these signs that say skip the line, order online,
yeah,
right?
So is that what you say? Is you say, okay, then because we're going to fulfill the in-person customer orders first, if you're an online order, you're just like everybody else, so you're not going to technically be able to save time. Does that then discourage online orders?
Dude,
what's your thought?
The exact opposite was what was floated.
Yeah.
If the people that show up have to wait, then you're just going to encourage everybody to order online.
And what would be the problem with that?
Right? Like,
I mean,
I'm not saying it's a problem, but
and
I
here's
mean,
the thing is, if I'm a restaurant owner, and I can fulfill the large majority of my orders online, and I don't have to deal with the customer-facing process of it, not only do I not have to pay for extra things like the labor cost of cleaning the restaurant where the customers are. I don't have to worry about dumping trash. I don't have to worry. I can even shrink my footprint based on, I mean, there are a lot of advantages business-wise if I can create a customer-facing restaurant that is only takeaway.
Do you think that they're more motivated to have online orders?
No, I'm just saying there's an advantage. And it depends on what they're looking for, because there is a cost for operating that larger space where people come in and sit down. There's a cleaning cost, there's a labor cost, there's square footage, there's heating, there's electricity, a whole bunch of stuff is involved in that. So again, I don't know what they're trying to do, but I have worked in food service. I would have a solution, but continue. I think they messed it up, and I'll tell you why.
Well, I want to know why.
Yeah.
I mean, so other people went, look, catered order is the most money.
Oh, hell yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
so
easily.
they take the priority.
Yeah.
And you come in, you want your one-off sandwich, you can sit there, little Jeffy, while we're going to fulfill the big multi-sandwich order for hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
Yeah. Yeah, and that, again, profit motive. The idea of that larger customer gets more of the service. That's the advantage that Walmart has. Walmart is able to negotiate a lower cost per unit based on bulk purchases because they are such a large and frequent customer. Kind of the same thing. That's where a lot of your bread is buttered. So that would make sense. So if you were in charge of the restaurant, I know how I would solve this. How would you solve it? What would be your thing? Would you rank order? What would you do?
So, dude, this thing is all over the place. You have some people that go in person. You have the people, they took the time. They're there. They're right in front of you. You can see the look on their face.
Yeah.
They have to get going to work, and you're like fulfilling some random ghostly order that nobody else can see.
Well, if you're so busy, you're so busy. Why don't you order online? Busy.
And others are going, look, it's first come, first serve, no matter what. If the online order came in first, it gets served first, even if you have to wait there.
Yeah,
so
see, I disagree with that, too.
First come, first serve.
I disagree.
So, in my mind, if I'm the manager and a catered order comes in, a dedicated team does that.
Yeah.
Like, for me, it's like, why is it one or the other that has to be served? Like, why did we do the whole catering, then get to the people? You couldn't divide up the team, and, maybe it slows down the full end time.
Yeah.
But the idea that it was just all one, then all the next, and then all the next, and you couldn't divide up the team to provide some service along the way, that's kind of where I would go. You guys are the catering team. You're the online team. You're the in-person team. Let's all work together and get it done. That's kind of how I'd probably do it.
Now, that is the actual solution to the problem. That is it, and that's what has to be done. In this sandwich shop, the way that you described it going, that is a failure on two levels. First, that is a failure of store management, and then that is a failure for on-site management of that day. Whoever the senior team leader is of that crew that day, they failed at their job. They absolutely did not understand what they were supposed to do. And I'm going to talk about this in a larger catering and restaurant idea. Worked with Epicurean Catering for a number of years. Also, did a lot of their large parties in addition to working restaurants and country club service. And let's just talk about something like a large party, which could be something like a wedding or wedding reception that you're doing. That's a large order. You have a large number of people, and it is very labor intensive. When you're doing that, you don't take the entire team and tell them to go around and fill the water glasses. You don't tell the entire team to pass hors d'oeuvres. You don't tell the entire team to take drink orders. You spread it up into different teams, and you do it based on strength. And the person that is in charge of that team at that restaurant that day needs to know who they have playing for them. They need to understand the numbers on the back of the jerseys and where you are best positioned. They pick the people that can just grind, that are just the sandwich, enthusiasts that'll just sit there and just go sandwich, 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 sandwich. Those are your caterers. You take those group and you put them together. You take the lower, less experienced, newer team members and you put them on online orders. One, it's not customer facing. Two, if they mess it up, what you gonna do? You already left the restaurant. Doesn't matter. Now, you as the on-person manager, you take the customer-facing orders probably with a second person as well, depending on the number of people that you have. Now, if you need to pull away, the difficulty is if you only have one person customer-facing, as you as the senior team leader, again, you're the most experienced. You should take the most customer-facing job. That's the one that is going to make the most impact on the customer service experience. So you take that job. If you need a second person, the problem is do you pull them away from the online orders or the catering orders? orders. And that would be based on numbers. And that would be how many online orders do we have sitting in back, how far are we in the rears, and how close are we to the catering numbers. And you would take the one that is closest. So if I need a second set of hands with me on the front counter, then I either grab the person from the online orders or a person from the catering team based on who's farthest behind. I take the team that is ahead, and I just set them back a little bit. That's the way that you do it. That's how you have to. And that manager, though, there's a lot on them, because while they're fulfilling those customer-facing orders, they still have to be checking with the other team, because you have your weakest members doing the online orders, and you also want to see the number totals as far as where that other team is, because as soon as you get close enough to that catering order, you can grab one of them and help them with the customer orders because they're so close. That's how you manage the team. I was a maitre d' for a while inside a high-end restaurant. That's how you have to manage the team. That's what you have to do. That's a failure both in store management
Bill
and
Thorpe,
on-site management.
the quarterback. Holy cow.
That's what you do.
Dude, way to call the plays.
Yeah, thank you. That's all it is. It's a matter of, delineating where the labor is, focus on the labor, focus on what's important, and again, who has strengths. There's a reason why some people on the Denver Broncos are defensive linemen and they're not tight ends, they're not running backs.
I found this was fascinating because of the number of hundreds of comments on this.
That's amazing.
So people run into it.
Oh, absolutely. All the time.
You're sitting there in the restaurant and you're watching them fulfill all these online orders, and you're just kind of like, hello.
Yeah. This is weird. This is weird that you brought this up, because in the last 14 days, we went into a sandwich shop, not the one you went into, but a different franchise, a different place, and we had kind of the same issue where there were only two people working. And there was two people. One person was obviously filling online orders. The other person was doing the customer facing. Now, again, you got to realize, like you, Jeff, when we walk in, and this is a couple extra people with us, we are already a boatload of fun, because our family alone is 6. You had a couple more, we're at 9 when we walk in. So again, every time we walk into stores like this or fast food restaurants, people pee their pants a little bit. They're like, oh my God, how many people? This sucks. So we walk in there, and the guy very smartly said, hey, I'm going to be handling you. He's doing the online orders. It might take us a little while. Might take us a little while, but we'll make sure you get everything that you need. All right, what's the first order? And then he kind of walked us through. And at the very end, this was the cool thing. This is why I really appreciate him. One, I saw him managing the online guy. And as he's doing, he's like, hey, make sure we've got more of this bread. You're going to need more of this. He's watching what he's doing while he's making our sandwiches. This is the really cool thing. And this was so smart at the end, is he hears myself and my daughter talking about the cookies that they're at the end of this place. And I'm like, why do we cookies here? And she's like, they're pretty good. My friends like them, the cookies. I'm like, cookies? Really, cookies? And at the very end, he sits there and he goes, guys, this took a little bit of time. I appreciate you giving me the extra time we needed to make sure this was fulfilled. Tell you what, free cookies on me. And he throws in a free cookie for everybody. 9 free cookies, but it was a nice, hey, it took us longer than it should. I heard you. And he heard us talking about the cookies and then fulfilled that questionable idea. Are we going back there? Yeah, we would, because of how he handled it.
Yeah.
It was smart. That guy did it right. I was impressed. And in fact, afterwards, I went over and I threw him some money as far as a tip, because I've been in that situation. And I'm like, you did a good job, man. You did a good job. So I threw him some cash afterwards. He's like, thank you so much. And nobody does that.
It's just a unique sign of the times.
Yeah.
This was something 20 years ago no one had to deal with. Waiting for someone to fulfill online orders.
Oh yeah,
that's not something you had to deal with 20 years ago.
No, not at all. No, and it's hard because it's a new labor. It's a new labor push for the market, and now you don't have it in some places, like when you go to the fast food places like McDonald's or stuff. Because if you order online through there and you want to take drive-through, you just sit in line with everybody else. So it is first come, first serve at that point.
Yep.
So yeah, the issue is you just skip one of the windows where you don't have to pay. That's the only difference.
Text messages coming in. If we just had more illegal immigrants, then we could solve this problem.
Nicely done. Good job. Good job.
Feel free to join the conversation if you like. Give us a call, 303-696-1971. 303-696-1971. Coming up next, if you remember, it was a few months ago, I ran into a young lady out on the street when I was doing my Man on the Street interviews, and she goes, look, I know who you are, and I know what you're doing down here, but can we have a serious conversation?
Ooh.
I've lost a friend we haven't heard from, and I need help raising awareness. I said, sure, absolutely. Yeah. And so it became a serious conversation about Jax Gratton. And the autopsy, unfortunately, they found Jax's body, and Jax had died and had died 2 months earlier.
Yeah.
And was
And
kind
the body
of
was
wedged
there,
between
yeah.
two buildings. Anyways, the autopsy report is out. Advocates not happy, showing up at a Lakewood City Council meeting demanding oversight in the death investigation. They don't feel like it's adequate enough. We'll get to that next. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader News Talk 710 KNUS.
Wake up, Denver. There's no better place to start your morning than IHOP, where the pancakes are fluffy, the coffee is hot, and the smiles are endless. Wednesday, August 27th, join Jeff and Bill as they broadcast their show live from IHOP at 1595 South Colorado Boulevard in Denver. You're officially invited to be part of the excitement. Come grab your favorite breakfast and watch the Jeff and Bill Show in action from 6 to 10 a.m. Don't forget to try the special Jeff and Bill breakfast. Pancakes, any style eggs, and crispy bacon, all for just $7.10. It's a deal as good as their hot takes. All they need is you. Bring your appetite, bring your friends, and kick off your day with great food and great conversation. See you Wednesday, August 27th at IHOP.
little show.
Ever seen these guys live? Ever? Just out of curiosity.
No,
The
ska.
Boss Tones? Yeah, this is the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones.
Gosh, ska
Never?
was one of those things I'm glad we moved on from.
No, ska's awesome. Ska's fantastic, especially if you know the history behind it. Coming out of Jamaica and what the reason is behind it and why.
Here we go.
No, never seen it.
The Bill Thorpe music wormhole.
No, dude, you never seen the Boss Tones? Oh.
No, I did not spend my money to go
So
see
good.
ska, Bill.
No, you should. You should. It's a tremendous thing, and this is the idea. Okay.
Gosh, I had a roommate in college that loved ska.
Oh, it's fantastic.
No,
it is absolutely
he
wonderful.
didn't have a girlfriend for
Oh yeah, it's absolutely wonderful.
the
That's
entire
irrelevant.
year we were there. No girl wants to listen to this.
Actually, yeah, they do. There's a number of them out there, and the thing is, the fun thing about the Boss Tones is there's a guy in the band that is just paid to dance. That's all he does. He comes on stage, he just dances the entire time. That's his role. How cool would that be? How many of us in the Jeff and Bill audience say, I can't be in a band, but they just said, get on stage and dance? Like, hey, I'm in a band. Again, I love that idea, that is just his role in the band. It is fantastic. Boss Tones are wonderful. Yeah,
I'd
absolutely
rather
fantastic.
listen to 70s disco than 90s.
Depends on
was
what
that
disco you're
called
talking
again?
about. That's ska.
Ska. Yeah, 90s ska.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Oh, gosh.
No way.
This is like when we
Come
went
on.
with, you remember those big jeans? The huge jeans that people would wear?
Oh, yeah. Those are ridiculous.
What were those called?
It starts with a J.
Yeah,
Can't pull it out of my head right now.
I want to say
Yeah.
gigolos, but that's
no, that's
all
not
right.
it. No, because Juggalos is the Insane
Juggalos,
Clown Posse.
yeah,
That's Insane
that's
Clown
right.
Posse. But they ate
Oh,
that.
gosh.
but it's
We
something else.
go through times in
Yeah.
humanity that we just need to move on.
Yeah.
Ska was one of them.
No, ska's fantastic, and it's got a long history. Well, it did have its moments in the sun in the '90s, but it's got a long, long history coming out of the reggae scene, where it is in Jamaica, and how it then breaks in Europe, as far as going into again the specials and where they come from. And yeah, we could go a long, long, long road on that. Ska's got a really, really neat
I want
history.
to apologize to all of our listeners who did
and
get
in
a
fact-
history lesson on ska.
And in fact, one of the first reasons that ska became so popular, it was the
Jinkos.
first.
Jinkos, that was it.
Jinkos. It was
Our
ska
listeners
music.
are awesome.
Ska music was one of the first genres that crossed racial bounds. Ska music is one of the first genres of music that basically says, no. This, and again, it's coming up between 50s and 60s. It's when ska originates, coming out of Jamaica. It's one of the first ones that includes and specifically argues about the segregation in society going on based on race. Ska is one of the first musical genres to address that head on. It's why when you go back to ska music, it's black and white. That's why you see the checkerboards. That's the
Bill,
message.
it may have some
The core of it is
nobility
about
and
inclusion.
its social
The core message is about
contributions to
inclusion. It is
improving society,
amazing.
but it's still not good music.
No,
All
it's
right.
fantastic.
This from Channel 9. Advocates demanding oversight in death investigation of transgender hairstylists. Dozens of advocates packed a Lakewood City Council meeting on Monday demanding an independent oversight board with at least one transgender member in Lakewood to oversee the death investigation of transgender hairstylist Jax Grattan. Grattan's body was found in June, nearly 2 months after Grattan was last seen. The autopsy's interesting in this one. So, on June 6th, police in Lakewood began investigations into a suspicious death. This is a similar article over on Channel 7. Finding a decomposed body in a narrow space between two buildings along the 9600 block of West Colfax Avenue. A bystander had discovered the body and called authorities. The autopsy points to some interesting things that were happening. So apparently Grattan was with two men. The report noted that a man whom Grattan had a history of consensual relations with was seen on surveillance camera leaving Grattan's apartment. He told authorities that he had picked Grattan up at Grattan's apartment in Denver and then went to the other man's apartment in Lakewood, where they were joined by a second man. The apartment was on the second floor. At some point, Grattan used, now this is GHB, which is a form of acid, and then fell asleep and woke up and vomited, the man said. The man propped Grattan up and left the apartment. Well, why would you do that? I take this a little personally because my best friend died of a cocaine overdose when I was a high schooler. And we were childhood best friends. I had my religious conversion and was kind of just moving on in a different direction than he was. And when he was 20, about 4 years after we kind of stopped spending as much time together, he died of a cocaine overdose, and people just left him and then ended up rolling up his body and throwing it into a city dump, which was terrible. But I don't understand this. People are overdosing and then you leave. So the man props Grattan up, leaves the apartment, and then when the first man returns, Grattan's no longer there. Grattan's body was discovered under the second-story window of the Lakewood apartment. The top of an air conditioning unit directly under the window was dented, the report reads. Grattan's head was found resting on a cinder block supporting the AC unit. The body was partially mummified and severely decomposed when it was found, which is amazing. 2 months. Bill, you talked about the smell of,
there's
someone who
smell.
had died 5 days.
Yeah, there's a real, there are some questions here. I'll let you continue, but the proximity to where she lived and the time frame has me asking a heck of a lot of questions, and I understand why people showed up at a council meeting to ask these questions. Yeah, but continue.
Well, and someone's texting GHB is not a form of acid, but it says gamma hydroxybutyric acid. That's what the report says. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But do you know that drug? I don't know that drug.
GHB, it's a party drug that basically it's a euphoric high. That's it. Sometimes it can be used in heavier doses as a date rape drug where it can really subdue you, etc. But in smaller doses, it's a euphoric. Yeah, that's what it is basically.
Okay. People are saying it's a drug that bodybuilders use.
Yeah.
Huh. Why would bodybuilders use it?
I don't have to look at that one.
Yeah. Well, they can't determine the cause of death because of some of the decomposition, but trans activists not happy, calling for a special investigation. Bill, what are your concerns about the investigation?
My concern is the fact that you find the body so close to the residence and it's months later. How thorough was the search? That's what I have a question on.
Good point.
Is the idea of, okay, and this is a horrible, horrible analogy, but everyone knows that listens to the show somewhat regularly. I keep reptiles, specifically snakes. Snakes are escape artists most of the time because of a mistake by the keeper. And searching for a lost snake in your house is one of the most frustrating acts you can ever commit to as a human because of how they hide, where they want to go, and their behavior. And so the idea of a thorough search is understated when you're looking for a lost snake. The idea of, I went through this closet, and that means taking everything out, looking in every shoe, every pocket. Everything comes out, and then you put it back in that closet, knowing that if you haven't found that snake in 9 hours, that snake could be back in that same closet, the same one you just searched. So it is a repetitive cycle that can grind on you when that snake's gone for days. But what you need is a thorough search. And what I look at is, we hear that Jax's body was found outside where she lived, wedged between two buildings. Possibly the implication may be that may have fallen out of a window and also could have been pushed or some sort of
tossed
argument
out
or
of the
something
window
else. Yeah.
or overdosed, and they just kind of like
and went
shoved
stumbled,
Jax
whatever it is,
out
or
of the
I don't want to
window.
deal with this, or
Jax.
Jackson. So that's idea, but it's outside the window of where they lived. That would be like saying, I live in a house, my snake has escaped, but I'm not going to search outside of the room. Why would I not continue to search the rest of the dang house?
That's a great point. And what's also wild is I never heard of these guys during the search.
Yeah.
Right? So
That's true.
everybody knew that Jax was missing.
Yes. Everyone talked about it.
And the dudes never went, hey, We were with Jax like 2 hours ago.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't hear about that.
Maybe
at all.
we walk around where we were all hanging out a bunch.
Yeah, because
and they never did that.
Yeah,
which is weird.
And this is stupid, but when you lose your phone or your car keys, they say, where is the last place you had it?
Right.
And that's where you start.
Did you
and it's
ever hear
concentric
about this?
circles. No. And
I
it's
never
concentric
heard about
circles
this.
outside of that. And so
it was like,
yeah.
oh, Jax just disappeared. Oh, 2
Yeah.
months later, we found Jax's body.
Yeah, and the idea is concentric circles. If you have someone that says, the last place I saw Jax was here, that's your starting point. You put a push pin on the map, and then you draw circles normally around that, and the first one is, and it depends on a search, if you do this in the wild, what you have is the last contact of a person, and you go something like 1 mile, 3 miles, 5 miles, 8 miles, 10 miles, 50 miles, and they're all larger circles that get away from the last point in which that person was seen.
Yeah.
And that's how this search should have been done.
Right.
The last point, but we never heard about this.
No.
And I'm going to be really mad if these people didn't say anything about it, and we were looking around the entire city wondering where did Jax may have gone when we had a starting point where we could have put a push pin in a map and started a actual search like they do when someone goes missing in the freaking wilderness.
Yeah.
This is
Dude,
a mess.
There's some suspicious things happening here. Now, the trans community wants an independent oversight board with at least one transgender member in Lakewood to oversee. I think you could fairly say there's a lot here that the Lakewood police need to answer for.
Yeah, I think there is.
I'm not sure you have to say that you have to have one transgender member in order to get to that, but clearly some unanswered questions. If those two guys who are on surveillance video knew Jax was missing, knew Jax was missing within minutes, if not hours, of the last time they hung out, and never came to police and never said anything, two things are in my mind. One, they contributed to the overdose, possibly killed Jax, or Jax overdosed and they just wanted to hide the body, which is what happened in personal friend of mine's case. And in that case, you're just as, if not a big piece of crud.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
As murdering somebody. You never actually drove them to the airport, the hospital.
Yeah.
Instead, you just shoved them out the window. Like my friend was found in a city dump, wrapped up in a carpet.
Because the people with him didn't want to be held responsible, didn't know what to do, so they tried
100%.
to. Yeah, they tried
It's
to
terrible.
hide it. Same thing here. That if this individual or the people that were with Jax knew that a search was going on and didn't raise their hand, I got some really, really serious questions. And the first one would be, why not? Why didn't you say, here's the last place I saw Jax? The only conclusion I can come to without any other information, and again, it's an assumption, is that you were trying to hide something.
Correct.
You didn't want to bring something forward. That's the only reason you wouldn't say, I know where this missing person was last.
So I think Jeff Coe, Lakewood, got some explaining to do.
Yes, you do.
All right, we'll continue. We got You Choose the News coming up. You're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader News Talk 710 KNUS.
Producer Adam pointed out, to his credit, if I got that wrong, I apologize. Jax was not found outside Jack's apartment. It was another apartment.
Yeah.
It looks like a motel if you go to 9600, but it may be converted into apartments. But
even then, all more important to raise your hand in last place we saw her. Super important. Makes the individual that was allegedly with her all that more important, and so many more questions about, well, if that's the last place, then just like with the lost snake, that's where you put the push pin in. Just like when you lose someone in the mountains, that's where you put the push pin in. That's where you start the search.
Right.
That's super important. And
all right.
You got some questions there.
Bill, let's kick it off with You Choose the News.
Yes, it's that time of the morning where we get to take this show in an unusual direction. We call it America's favorite fake radio news game show, You Choose the News. I have spent moments this morning browsing interwebs for stories about us humans and giving them more ridiculous headlines to play this fake radio news game show because those that are in charge are not awake at this hour. And when Jeff and I are left unsupervised, yeah, this is the kind of stuff that happens. Should have seen what happened when we were teenagers. Alrighty. Now, as always, we bring in a partner in crime. That is Blake Olson in the news department. Gentlemen, here are your stories. And a little bit of a warning. There's a hidden landmine here. Just saying. Let's see if we find it. Alrighty, gentlemen. Headline number 1, unwanted keepsake. Headline number 2, that's Frankenstein. Headline number 3, crazy reinforcements. And headline number 4, a little humble brag. Mr. Hunt, your turn,
Little
sir.
humble brag, please.
A little humble brag. Hey, Blake, and the boom goes the dynamite. Here we go. Jeff has found our secret story.
Hey!
Things are about to get awkward. Alrighty. Here we are going to meet Matt Barr from England. He's 41 from London and says he's got a little bit of a problem. No, actually, he's got a big problem. Recently, Matt slipped and broke his arm in the shower. Not really a big deal, but actually, it is a very big deal. Why did Matt slip in the shower? It's because he didn't see the hair gel on the floor of the shower because of his enormous manhood. Yes.
Hey, wow.
Matt Barr has had his Johnson independently measured as the largest on record.
No way.
Yes, and during the story, the thing is, I'm reading the story, and it just seemed like him having an excuse to just brag to everybody about, hey, have you seen how big yeah. He says, when I move too fast, I can make a mess with my balance. I was rushing to get to work, and I didn't see the excess shower gel, because of my, Hey, just shut up, Matt. Stop bragging.
I was going to say, this is a news story?
It is a news story. I found it on an official news site, as far as you know. He said that he's had close calls or minor falls before, never anything this severe. Usually he falls when he has somebody else in the shower with him, and it just goes on from there about the awkward things about him trying to dress. And I just felt the entire thing was him just to say, hey, do you know about this? I just sort of felt like the entire time. But I didn't read the whole story.
What is he, is he 2 feet tall or something?
No, he's actually quite tall, but I just,
How tall is he?
Depends on whether or not he's excited, and we'll leave it there. Okay, now, Blake Olson, sir. Unwanted keepsake, that's Frankenstein or crazy reinforcements?
That's Frankenstein.
Yes, that's Frankenstein. Shout out to you, everybody that knows the reference. Coloradans are being warned not to touch the Frankenstein rabbits. They are invading our parks. We've seen pictures of them coming to us from Fort Collins. A virus is transforming our ordinary little rabbits across our state into creatures that sport black tentacle-like growths that sprout from their faces.
Yeah.
It is a cottontail pamplona virus. It's benign, but just causes tumors to grow on the animals' heads. They look like black quills or black toothpicks that stick out and around the mouth. Sometimes it makes it hard for them to see or even eat. That's maybe where some of that came from. But Colorado Parks and Wildlife is saying if you see the Frankenstein rabbits, no touchy. Don't pet the Frankenstein rabbits. No, that's it. Oh, no, we're running out of time. No. Well, I don't know if we have time for the last one.
We got 20 seconds.
Okay.
Come on, Billy.
Crazy reinforcements. Mental health experts are saying AI is going to make you crazy because AI wants to feed you stuff so you keep using it. If you're in a psychosis loop, it'll continue to feed you the psychosis to make you even more crazy. Yes, the machines want us crazy. That's it. That's the end of You Choose the News.
We're already crazy. Here we go. You're listening to Jeff and Bill.
KNUS.